When Gunsmoke first hit television screens, it wasn't just another Western. It became the Western that defined an era. With its cowboys, dusty streets, and danger lurking around every corner, fans across America couldn't get enough of it. But behind the shootouts and saloon doors were moments the cameras never showed. Scenes that made the cast laugh, blush, and sometimes stare a little too long. And yes, there was one unforgettable outfit worn by Amanda Blake that stopped everyone in their tracks. On screen, she was Miss Kitty, strong and graceful. But off-screen, her wardrobe had the crew whispering and looking twice, setting the stage for what became one of the most iconic shows in American television history. Gunsmoke began not on TV but as a radio drama in 1952, created by Norman Macdonnell and John Meston, set in Dodge City, Kansas, during the 1870s. The story followed U.S. Marshal Matt Dillon as he kept peace in a town filled with danger and drifters. William Conrad voiced Dillon on radio, giving him that deep, rugged tone fans loved. And CBS, even without a sponsor, kept funding it because they knew they had something special. Critics later called it one of the greatest radio shows of all time, and when it moved to television in 1955, everything changed forever. The heart of the story stayed the same, but the scale exploded. Running for 20 seasons and 635 episodes, Gunsmoke became one of the longest-running scripted shows in American history, only surpassed decades later by The Simpsons. At its peak, the show topped the ratings and even drew comparisons to epic tales like the Iliad and Odyssey. Each episode pulled audiences into the rough yet strangely comforting world of Dodge City, where justice and danger walked side by side. Bringing Gunsmoke to television wasn't easy. Norman Macdonnell loved radio so much that he worried TV would ruin the mystery listeners imagined in their heads. But CBS was determined, even though fans of the radio show weren't thrilled at first, especially when their favorite voice actor William Conrad wasn't cast as Matt Dillon. He auditioned but was deemed too heavy for the role. Even Raymond Burr, who would later become Perry Mason, was rejected for the same reason. Rumors have long said John Wayne was offered the role, but in truth, he wasn't. Instead, Wayne recommended a young actor named James Arness, and that decision changed television forever. Arness became Marshal Matt Dillon, Dennis Weaver joined as Chester, Milburn Stone as Doc Adams, and Amanda Blake as Miss Kitty Russell. Meston, the original writer, stayed on to ensure the tone remained true to its roots, keeping fans old and new hooked from the very first episode. When the show aired in 1955, it was an instant hit. The early half-hour episodes drew millions, and when it expanded to a full hour in 1961, the storytelling grew deeper. The dusty streets of Dodge City became a stage for tales of courage, morality, and survival. Matt Dillon stood tall as the lawman who never backed down, while Chester's loyalty and Doc's grumpy wisdom grounded the show. And then there was Miss Kitty, with her strength, compassion, and quiet chemistry with Dillon that hinted at love but never quite crossed the line. Their relationship remained one of the most talked-about will-they-won't-they stories in TV history. Filmed in California's Wildwood Park, and with music that stirred emotions in every episode, Gunsmoke became more than a show. It became part of American culture. But even legends face sudden ends. After 2 decades in 1975, CBS abruptly canceled Gunsmoke without warning the cast. There was no farewell episode, no final showdown, just a quiet announcement in industry papers. James Arness later said they had no idea it was over. Fans were heartbroken, but reruns, reunion movies, and the show's enduring spirit kept Dodge City alive. Through it all, James Arness stood as the heart of the series, appearing in every single one of its 635 episodes, a record few have matched. His calm authority and physical presence came with pain, though, as he had suffered war injuries that caused lasting leg problems, forcing the crew to adjust filming around his strength. His dedication and toughness only added to his legend. As for Amanda Blake's Miss Kitty, she remained one of the show's brightest stars. Fans always wondered if she and Matt Dillon would ever marry, but both Blake and Arness agreed it would change the show's essence. On radio, her character's background hinted at something more scandalous, but television softened it into grace and mystery. Blake's performance made Miss Kitty iconic, a woman who commanded respect in a world run by men. And then there were the guest stars. Gunsmoke became a training ground for future legends. Burt Reynolds played Quint Asper before becoming a Hollywood icon. Even Star Trek stars like William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy walked the streets of Dodge City. The phrase "get out of Dodge" even entered American slang thanks to the show's impact. The behind-the-scenes stories were just as wild. CBS once saved Gunsmoke by canceling Gilligan's Island to give it a better time slot, keeping it alive for 8 more years. In later seasons, changing attitudes toward violence during the Vietnam War led producers to remove the gunfight from the opening credits. And when the show finally wrapped, the torch it carried for American television was undeniable. In 2020, The Simpsons finally broke Gunsmoke's episode record, but it took them 3 decades to do what Gunsmoke accomplished in 20. And then, there was the fashion that made everyone stop in their tracks. When Amanda Blake walked onto the set in one of her signature Miss Kitty gowns, everything paused. The satin, the beads, the bustle, every detail turned her into the Queen of Dodge City. Her gowns were more than costumes. They were armor, symbols of power and beauty in a harsh world. Even though they were heavy and uncomfortable, she wore them like they were second skin, commanding every scene with quiet authority. In later color episodes, her dresses shimmered under studio lights, and her presence transformed every room. Those dresses became part of Gunsmoke's magic, representing strength, grace, and independence all at once. From its radio roots to its television legacy, from John Wayne's recommendation to Amanda Blake's unforgettable gowns, Gunsmoke didn't just show the Old West, it built it. One story, one gunfight, one quiet moment at a time. The show became a symbol of endurance, heart, and the kind of storytelling that still inspires modern TV. So which Gunsmoke moment or character still stays with you the most after all these years? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin and press the bell icon for more incredible stories from Hollywood's golden past.